Now, part two. How to get to the happy ending. Well, let's look at it. Okay, so first of all, if you have children, you know that you love your children. And you know that you want them to be happy. And when they're happy, you're happy. You're happy then. Look how happy they are. It's wonderful, you say. This is great. And you will go to quite some lengths to do something or to behave in such a way. That's important for you guys to remember. To behave in such a way that your children are happy. And further down the line, you will want them to be. They will become more important to you. And children actually are older spiritually. They come in later. They've developed while you were on the earth, so they're older, I've heard. That makes sense too. To me. Anyway, you will want your children to be happy with you, with your behavior and how you are with them. And you will want them to say things like, "You're the most wonderful dad, and I'm so happy you're here," as opposed to maybe not sending you a card at all. And so much more so the Almighty, who is your Father, He wants you to be happy. So He didn't create you. So we can say from this, we can go along this line, and it's a good line, that since God loves you so much, and it has been said by wise people, that God loves man more than He loves any of His other creations, because He knows the suffering and the agony that man will have to go through, or the suffering. I forget if they included agony in it or not. The suffering he has to go through. So we know that's a solid foundation. We know, of course, in the end you don't want to assume anything. You want to have experience. You want to verify through experience, through following the guidance of God, through following the precepts of the things in your own being, sincerely and strictly, doing it, like without some kind of ulterior motive. What the messengers of God have told you to do. Love your neighbor. Get into it, See what that entails. Do you love them if they're a bad person? Treat them as you would treat yourself. If they're bad, do you exhort them? Find out what it actually means. And if you're able to be fortunate enough to have the guidance of God, you will find it doesn't mean exactly what you thought it meant. No, maybe you don't exhort them. And if they're bad people, maybe you don't even see them. Maybe you stay away from them. That's what you do with yourself. If you have something bad inside of you, stay away from it. You don't get near it. You don't want to mess with it. You don't want to bring it out. Don't get me going. Don't get me angry. Okay. So we don't want to get too far off the track here. So we know that if we can do what God wants for us to do here, as the same way a good child can do what his good parent wants him or her to do. His or her good parent, him or her. Yeah. Then we know that things will go well, and there will be a happy ending. And then when the parent dies, they'll say to their child, "I am so grateful, and I give thanks to Almighty God that I had you for my child. You've been the best. You've supported me. You've loved me, and I never could have done it without you." And so forth and so on. And see you later. Okay, so we know if we can do that, follow the guidance of God. God actually, because if you love somebody, then you want them to have a good time. It's just say, okay, come over at 8 o'clock and wear your best clothes, and I've got a surprise for you. And boy, if they come at 8 o'clock and they've got their best clothes on, and he gives them a big surprise. It's very nice. If he knows his child, oh, that's the best thing, Dad. How did you know? Mom, how did you know I wanted this? You know, your daughter, I suppose. But if you don't show up at 8, or you come over but you're wearing your raggedy clothes, you were just working on the car, you didn't bother to change, not going to be quite as nice. Son, I thought I asked you to do no. Oh, the time, disrespect for your parents. It may not turn out as well. There's a chance it won't. You don't want to risk that, so be on time and, show up in your best clothes. Now, so to follow the guidance, in other words, we could walk with God. And by the way, don't get the idea, because your heart and mind say, oh, that's so difficult. My God, look at they go up to the mountains. Look what happened to Christ and the prophet. Oh, I can never do that. I'm just an ordinary person. I'll do the best I can. Well, that's not what Christ said. Christ said, follow me. He said, my burden is light. My yoke isn't something to do. It's not heavy. It's good. It's good to be in that way. It's easy, he said. Well, it may not look easy to the heart and mind, but if you're the person living it, you say, yeah, no, this is easy. This is good. I can do this. I like this. Get trained, you climb the mountain, you had a lot of fun. Other people are going, oh my God, how can he do that? This isn't fun. You call this fun? But you were trained. Okay. I don't want to make this too long. So how do you get to that guidance? How do you know God is guiding you and it's not the devil? Or your desires, or your passions, or your self-interest, or yourself, your blind self. I mean, not that blind. Sometimes in yourself you feel very good. I know just what to do. Here, blah, blah, blah. May or may not work out. Because it's certainly God for sure knows what to do, so you can follow the guidance of God. Then you'll know what to do. Then you will be able to do what the knowing, wise God guides you to do, and that will work out fine. Very good. Maybe surprisingly well. Okay, so then the question becomes, if you want to have the happy ending, and it is possible, there can be a happy ending. There is a happy ending. Okay? If you will pay attention. Like a good child. Your parents talk to you, pay attention. Don't ignore them. Don't disrespect them. Listen to what they're saying to you. Maybe they're not as enlightened as you are about something, but they have wisdom from being experience of being on the earth. Get what you can. Value your parents. Honor your parents. For good cause. I mean, they've sacrificed their life. I mean, they give up their life, generally speaking. You give up. If you're a parent, you may have a lot of plans or anything, but you find that in the end, you make choices that have to do. You put your children first. Put yourself first, but in that, and along with that, you put your children first as well, just as well. And sometimes, you will tend to forego something. If foregoing it will bring your child, that's what we call parents sacrificing. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that road. Okay, so you have to. If you have common sense here, use your common sense. You're going to need to know how to access that guidance of God, so you can follow it. Can't get the message. What are you going to do? You'll do something else. Bob will say, well, while you're waiting to get the message, why don't you come over here and I'll make you lunch. And, then you're off having lunch. The message comes in. You're busy with your mouth stuffed full of food. You can get the message. You got to get the message right now. The living God, the message of the living God. And, don't imagine that you're going to be some kind of robot following on, oh, no, God told me to do this, now God told me to do that. No, that's the demented. That's not how it works. God is perfect, so it falls right into your own nature. God does not put himself forward. In fact, a lot of people don't even know there is a God because God is so subtle and so beautiful and so fast that you come home and everything's all ready, the food's on the stove, and you don't even know, who cooked it and how did that happen? You accept it. After a while, you expect it. Where's my food? Whoever made the food didn't make my food today. Anywho, try to keep this short. So, you need to have the guidance of God, and then you also, besides being able to know the guidance of God, you have to have your system where there isn't a bunch of mischief and stuff running around you, your bad character and your passions and your desires and everything, your wishes, perhaps. I won't go with wishes, but those other things. Because, some of your wishes are good wishes. But all those things, your wants and so on, they have to kind of be in line. So they have to be you have to kind of have, the guidance has to be foremost, and the other things have to kind of go like, yeah, sure, that's fine, let's do that. And not, oh, I want to do that, that doesn't seem like fun to me, let's go over here instead. Oh, yeah, no, you don't want that, you don't want that. So, in other words, your system has to be in pretty good shape. Now, you can look at yourself and how you are and how you get angry and how you get upset and how this upsets you. You don't understand that and all these other kinds of things that are typical for the person in the human condition today on the earth, 2020. And if you're honest about it and look at it straight on, you can see that, well, you're not in very good shape. Sometimes you want to be in good shape and so forth and so on, but you're just not in that good of a shape. And there are many things you don't understand. Because you don't understand, you make big mistakes with people, and you lose opportunities, and so forth and so on and so on. And you kind of waste your life playing video games or whatever it is you like to do, and you don't want to. You eat too much because you love the food, but you don't want to get to that. You don't want to eat too much. Or maybe you just don't want to get fat. You see nothing wrong with eating lots and lots of food, even though there's starving people, children across the world who, would need that food that you're wasting, making yourself fat. Or the big house that you have that, you have no need for and you're tired of pretty soon because it's a lonely place too. It's so big and it isn't filled with people. So after a while you get lonely and God only knows what you'll do and you get lonely and so forth and so on. So those are the things you need. You need to be able to find the guidance of God, and you need to have a system that is, working properly so that it also things are in control. They go along. They go along, and you have to have the attitude, you have to know how to follow the guidance of God, which is you don't question it. Guidance is something you're moved to do. No, you're allowed, yes, but so moved. You have to be moved. Being allowed to do something is the way things normally work. So you're allowed to do things. But unless there's guidance in there, you may very well be allowed to do something that is just going to teach you a lesson that you're going to wish you didn't have to learn. And God will, let you go down that road. You want that ice cream so bad, and after a while, God will say, well, okay, what happened? He knows it's going to happen, but you want it so bad, so He gives it to you. And as parents, we do that. And we don't feel good about it, but you love the kid, and you're not going to. At some point, it becomes the God-given reality that you give him what he wants. And allow him to go down the road. So I'm not talking about just being allowed, I'm talking about the living guidance of being in there. So, How can you do those things? Well, the human, given the mess that you're in, well, the Almighty knows your situation, so God always, is like your Father. He always has the answer. He always knows what to do. So God knew what to do, and He sent to the earth around the, in the latest case. We're just talking about the present. Let's not go back into the past. The latest case, in 1900, there's a messenger of God. Never claimed to be just an ordinary guy, but a messenger, really. I mean, God was born in Indonesia and grew up and received a direct, had a direct connection with the Almighty and was able to pass it on. In the world, it's called Subud. It's a contact with the power of God. There's an organization called Subud. Passes it on. It's a contact with the power of God. Now, why do you need that? Because you're such a mess. And so if you try to do it on your own without the wisdom and the explanations that come along, you have to believe this and believe that. It's an experience. It's a proof that God exists. It's an experience that shows you, you're right there with it. So you get to see and you get to realize how God works on you and what God is wanting for you, and the kind of things that He gives you and the kind of things He doesn't give you, out of His love for you. So you need to have that contact. And in that contact is the guidance of God. And the way, it will show you, it's a living thing, so it will show you as you go along, you get ready for it. When you're ready, now, second grade, we're not going to do algebra, but in the fifth grade, maybe, we will. Or the seventh grade, certainly we will. And then you need to have your system cleaned up. That involves getting purified. Every messy thing, everything that's out of place in your system, where your mind is running you, or your heart is running you, your passions overwhelming, you can't control them. All many things are out of place, and they need to be fixed, because mankind is kind of messed up right now. It can still function. Well, if you want to call it that. He mostly functions, a lot of the function he does, not all of it, but quite a bit of it has to do with, just because he's motivated to survive, and so he gets into the material world, and it becomes all about money, which is kind of backwards. Money is the thing that man created out of his heart. And it came from a material human force, as far as I'm able to determine. Something like that. My son agrees on that. And that's what I get to. So we'll say that's what it is for now. Which is not a very high force. It's kind of, it has its place. Human material force. But it lacks a lot of things, including feelings. So it doesn't have any feelings. So money is not. So anyway, so you need to have this purifying action take place in you. So who can do it? Well, you can't do it. So God has to do it. So with the gift to contact with the power of God, you get open. You get to contact people who have already gotten it. And the guy in Indonesia, he passed it out from the beginning. Reincarnated soul. I mean, way beyond a very advanced being. People are more advanced and less advanced. So don't think there aren't more advanced beings. There are smarter people than you are, and there are dumber people than you are. And there are people who have gone along further and have been more successful in their efforts, and there are people who have been less successful. We look to those who've been more successful to guide us, and we just try to see those that have been less successful. We try to help them out because we know better. But we don't tell them that. A little joke. Anyhow, so you need to get this contact, and then you need to realize the great gift you've been given, and you need to follow it. Now that involves allowing, which this is a great thing. It makes such perfect sense. How God can work on you and restore you, not like the religions, do this, do that. It's a good way, but it's a kind of a clunky way. do this and do this and do this, and don't eat fish on Fridays and whatever it comes to, and you'll become a better person. But in the way it is now, the modern, the new thing of God, the new way, which is actually a way that's always been there, but people just ignore it. So he rose it up and brought it in more clearly. So perchance you will use it, you can use it. And that is, you simply, once you have this contact, you stand quietly in a room. Usually we do it with other people, but you don't have to. You can do it by yourself. You don't need to belong to a group. But group things can be very good, and they can be supportive, and they can all get you kind of motivated when you might not be kind of tempted not to do something. Get tired, you're too busy, or whatever, but your group calls you, and you have to maintain those situations in the group. And also, it can be, doesn't have to be, it can be more powerful. And then you stand there and you close your eyes. You start out in that position so you're not distracted by everybody. And you wait. And you wait until you are moved, which is the same thing you do when you get open. You wait until you are moved from within. That means a movement, some kind of thing that you do, which is coming from within, which you are not directing yourself toward. You are not trying to get it to happen. You are not making willful efforts or mental efforts or whatever you might want to do. In other words, trying to direct yourself, a fool's errand. Well, you may not think so. I won't say anything about that. Anyway, you allow God to work. Now, if you want to know what kind of a movement that might look like, I've been doing this for 50 years, so the kind of movements I might have might be, they're the same in essence, but they might be a little bit more, whatever. So I'll just allow myself to be moved straight out, so you can see a little bit of what it's like. Allah, Allah, Allah. Pay attention to Allah and love Allah. Okay, I got neighbors that I don't want to disturb them. Anyway, there it was. That's being moved from within. For me. Everybody's a little different. God knows your nature. Everybody has their own nature. They have their own needs and their own requirements. One person's sickness is not another person's sickness. One person's noble qualities are not another person's noble qualities. That's what you need. If you want to have a happy ending, that's what you do. Do that. Trust me or trust God, and God will show you who to trust. That will be your outcome in the end. Although, in the movies, if people watch them and say, oh yeah, it's just in the movies, that's not what happens in real life. Look at all the people that get divorced, and look at all the bad things that happen. That's what they say. But in real life, yeah, there has been, and there can be, and will be, and hopefully for you, if you take up this message and you follow it out sincerely and strictly, don't determined. Which I must say does not require it's an ordinary effort. Don't go to extremes. Never need to go to extremes. Stay in the middle. Be normal. Be calm. Use your common sense. If you will follow that, and as you go along, you kind of add in and you develop a thing, a determination to have complete courage. Courage, acceptance, sincerity, meaning I'm just not saying I want to do this, but I don't really know if I do or not. No. Say what you mean what you say. There is a happy ending. There will be a happy ending for you. In this life and in the next. Okay? That's my message. All right. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.